Hello, and welcome once again to the Masked Fanatic. I'm the Masked Fanatic of the moment, Dr. Lady, here in the attic above Horror Hotel, where we're looking for some interesting old masks that some of you fans and collectors out there might not have noticed over the years. Masks that you can't really find at your local, Halloween catastrophe or whatever it is every year, but you might find on places like eBay or at privately owned costume shops. Oh, here's a good one. For example, I'd like to point out Carlisle, a Don Post classic. I don't know why this guy is called Carlisle, but it amused me a lot when I was a child because of the very few surviving relatives that I had. I had an aunt and uncle. Okay, they were actually my great aunt and uncle. They were my mother's aunt and uncle, but I called them aunt and uncle. Okay, you don't care about my family history, but their name was Carlisle, C-A-R-L-I-S-L-E, just like the spelling of the mask, C-A-R-L-I-S-L-E. There are different spellings of the name Carlisle, but the mask was spelled just like my Uncle Chuck Carlisle. And, well, Carlisle first was around in the 60s and 70s. I never understood the weird colors on old Carlisle. He's kind of a zombie Frankenstein-y looking character, and he always had this weird color scheme with the hot pink and the yellow and the bright blue going on. Kind of looked like, when I was a kid, I wondered, was he wearing clown makeup when he died? Is that the deal? Or I was never sure, you know? As far as the sculpture and the design, I thought he kind of looked mostly like the corpse of Vincent Price's father in the movie The Raven from 1963. There's a scene where they open the coffin and you see the corpse of Vincent Price's character's father, and he's a withered old, well, he looked a bit like this, just a bit. I think they were going for kind of the look of a Basil Gogos painting with the bright colors, but somehow when Basil did it, it looked awesome, and when you do it on a mask, it just looks bizarre. But this is the classic Carlisle style, sometimes called the Rainbow Carlisle, because in the 70s, late 70s, they also did a glow-in-the-dark edition, which didn't have the weird colors and was just glow-in-the-dark color with black for the hair and shading, and that was pretty much it. But now the Rainbow edition was reissued around the year 2000, I believe. I wonder if it says on here. Maybe it says 2000, or, all right, maybe it doesn't. I think it was the year 2000 when this was reissued as part of the Retro series. And just like the originals from the days of old, the Retro edition Carlisle was vinyl rather than latex. And kind of a Don Post classic. Oh, and as far as resemblance to other characters in the movies, if you ever get a chance to see the Argentinian horror film The Curious Dr. Hump, I kid you not, the monster of Dr. Hump looks an awful lot like Carlisle, only with a blinking light bulb stuck in the middle of his forehead. So watch for that one. He looks just like. And another interesting thing about the Carlisle mask is, again, 60s and 70s, reissued around 2000. Then more recently, I believe 2007 was when they issued a new version of Carlisle. This one a little more realistic. As you can see, this version didn't have the silly colors. It was painted a more realistic, chilly, dried out, clammy blue-gray kind of zombie color. And the sculpture was also a little more realistic this time. And this one has real hair instead of sculpted on hair. I believe this was only in production for 1 year, so it's kind of rare to find these. I recommend it. I think it's a great quality mask. Good for the price. I believe this one went for around $40, but pretty nice. And another interesting thing about the Carlisle reissue, the resculpted, larger, more realistic version from, I think, 2007. Now, the manufacturing information is on the back of his ear, and on the back of his left ear, it always says Don Post Studios, blah, 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 right on there. From whenever it was sculpted. I think 2005 was when it was sculpted, and then it came out in the 2007 catalog. If I'm wrong about that, I'm sure nobody will correct me because nobody will care. But that's pretty close anyway. But the really odd thing is that in the reissue with the real hair, certain copies, but not all of them, have on the back of the right ear a thing molded right into the rubber, not a sticker or a piece of fabric, but molded right in, A copyright claiming the mask has to do with the Devil's Rejects, copyright Lionsgate Films. This was not actually in the Devil's Rejects, so I'm pretty sure that's a mistake. At least one of the molds used for this edition have that molded into the back of the ear, right there. So you got this ear and that there. But not all of them. Some of them are just smooth on the back of the ear. Strange thing. I have no useful input for you regarding whether the mask is worth any more or less if it has the erroneous Devil's Rejects identifying tag on the back of the ear. I don't know, but it's cool in any case. And look for the Carlisle mask if you like interesting, spooky masks. And actually this version with its less flamboyant color scheme looks more like the corpse of Vincent Price's character's father from The Raven because it's a little more realistic. But Carlisle, any way you look at him, whether he's the rainbow edition or the glow-in-the-dark one or the Redux from more recent days, still a cool monster from the history of Don Post, and I think every collection of dead people should probably have me in it. Him in it. Thank you.